This is the latest edition of Money Talk here on Atlanta News First. I'm Tim Darnell, and we're joined today by Brian Ford. He is a wealth management advisor for Northwestern Mutual, and we're really talking today about how African Americans can build generational wealth and how this financial management tool and approach can really help bridge the racial wealth gap that we all know occurs in the United States. And Brian, just as the wealth management advisor for Northwestern Mutual, talk to us a little bit about what this issue is and why it's important for African American families in their future financial planning.
Sure. So I'll start off just answering the question of exactly what is generational wealth. And essentially, it's referring to financial assets that are passed on from one generation to the next. And that can include stocks, bonds, cash, real estate, or family businesses. And the Black and African American community, they are affected financially in a lot of different ways with regards to that wealth gap. And a lot of it exists due to historical factors, which a lot of us are very well aware of, and they continue to impact our wealth. And not just the wealth, but also earning potential, and then also the distribution of assets when people are passing away. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, when you look at median earnings for Blacks, it's hovering right at $881, which is less than whites who are hovering right around $1,101. So that just shows the disparity is still there.
What is generational wealth? Give us a definition for our viewers and our readers of what generational wealth actually is.
Certainly. And again, it's really just boiling down to looking at having financial assets that are being passed down from one generation to the next generation. And that can cover a myriad of different assets. And again, that's stocks, bonds, cash, real estate, and family businesses, if you will.
We have a recent data from the U.S. Census Bureau showing that Atlanta has the highest income inequality in the nation. So how can you actually go about bridging or closing this racial wealth gap in Atlanta specifically?
Certainly. One way of doing so, I would say, would be supporting Black and African American individuals in their pursuit of closing the generational wealth gap. And again, that's passing down assets from one family generation to the next. And that's a very important piece. And really, there are four primary areas that are associated with it: business, real estate, investments, and insurance. In my experience, what I would share with you is typically there aren't enough Black and African Americans who own real estate or own a profitable business, and also just not enough active participation with investing into the stock market, and a lot of skepticism and cynicism attached to the insurance industry, which tends to lead them to not participate in that as well.
What are some common ways for people to start investing? Let's say I haven't been, as active financially as maybe I should have been in terms of planning. What are just some common ways for people to actually start their investment strategies?
Sure. So some low-hanging fruit opportunities would be participating and making contributions to retirement accounts. So whether that's an IRA or if you're employed by someone and they have a 401k, just making contributions and really just getting started early. And it could be just starting small, whatever you feel most comfortable with. It could be 1% of your earnings. It could be making just $100 a month of a contribution and just going back periodically and reevaluating your capacity to increase those savings over time.
Mm-hmm. You're obviously a wealth management advisor for Northwestern Mutual. What does a good wealth management strategy look like? What are some components that people really need to be keeping in mind in terms of, developing that wealth management strategy?
Sure. So when people think about wealth management, they often think of investing. And while that is a very important part of any management strategy, there are some other key considerations to make. Both financial planning and wealth management are really about planning for your life, not just about your money. And so, an advisor, we can help you evaluate the best financial decision making for both short and long term goals. And this includes making sure you have the right amount of insurance in place for your specific situation, making sure that you're getting help with identifying investment opportunities that make the most sense for what you're looking to accomplish, and also maybe even the best strategies for paying off debt.
Mm. We are wrapping up this edition of Money Talk here on Atlanta News First Plus, talking with Brian Ford, Wealth Management Advisor for Northwestern Mutual. Final thoughts, anything we haven't covered that you really feel is important for our viewers and our listeners to keep in mind in terms of really building generational wealth and taking care of our families from now into the future?
Yep, I would say it's important to remember there really is no perfect time to get started when it comes to financial planning. It's never too early and it's never too late. And small decisions, like something as simple as adding a life insurance policy, are steps that are going in the right direction that can help set you up to be in a much stronger position financially for later down the road.
All right. Thanks to Brian Ford, Wealth Management Advisor for Northwestern Mutual. Thanks to all of you for watching and listening to this edition of Money Talk on Atlanta News First.